described, that confidence. Okay? We'll start over here. What's your name?
Julian.
Julian. Okay, Julian, let's start with you. Read off one thing that just made you feel confident as you read the bar.
Julian plays hard.
Okay, great. Trevor.
Devin.
Sorry. What's your name?
Why?
Yes. Aaron.
Good hitter.
Good. Gives you confidence, right?
Yeah.
Michael says, believe in yourself, you will go far.
That's great.
Fast.
Fast. All right, good.
Yeah, that's me.
So, confidence is that first C, guys, right? With confidence, not just in baseball, but also in life, you have to be proud of yourself and who you are. Because you are nothing like him, and you're nothing like you, and you're nothing like you. Okay? Everybody has their own skill and their own attribute to give, not just to baseball, but to the world, right? So, no matter what skills you have, you always have to be confident in what you're doing for you. Okay? On the field or on the court, it is for your team as a whole, but you have to be a confident individual to make that happen and to create that team to succeed. Okay? So confidence is that first C. Alright? The next C, consistency. Alright? Look at your ball. Pretend there's nothing written on it. Right? Are all your balls the same? They all look the same? How much does that ball weigh? You guys know? Might be written on it. You could cheat, but it's 5 ounces. Okay? How big is that baseball? There's a circumference measurement on it. 9 inches. Right? Is it 9 inches on your ball too?
Yep.
Yeah. How many seams are on that baseball? Does anybody know? This is a tough one. I know it just because I love baseball and I'm close. 108. Okay? 108 double stitches on the baseball. There's 108 on yours, and there's 108 on yours, and all of yours. Everything is similar. It's consistency. Okay? That baseball represents consistency. Okay? So that's the next topic, is consistency. Those 3 things will always stay consistent forever, unless they change the baseball, which you never know in today's world. For these home run hitters, they might. So consistent mechanics in pitching, in hitting, in fielding. They make you a better player. They give you better pitches, better approaches. They give you better at-bats, better batting averages. Less errors on the field. Okay? But in life, those consistencies of respect, hard work, and happiness, okay, that creates success. All right, so there's your consistency. We have confidence and consistency. The next C is composure. Okay, this is where I ask the coaches to help me out, and parents, fans. Before we started today, I asked the coaches to kindly say something not so nice on the baseballs. And I wanted to see their reaction to how they would take it, okay? And that's where composure comes in, the third C, okay? If you can stay composed and hold it in, all right? So, what does yours say?
Doesn't work hard enough.
How did it make you feel?
I was a little upset.
Yeah. What did you do to overcome that light right away?
Gotta work harder at practice.
You got it. Devin?
Slow.
Slow. How did you feel? I seen you laugh. Well, it might be. You're just tell them you're giving 50%. So, how did that make you feel?
Didn't really make it over.
Okay. It's composure.
Slow.
Another slow one. Okay. Same thing. How did you feel? You feel angry? A little upset? Not really. You're a realist. I know you're slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's always smiling.
What is it?
Pain.
A pain?
No, pain.
Pain. Oh, okay. Okay. How did that make you feel?
It's true. Because bad hitters.
Bad hitter. But yours. Okay. How did you feel when you read that? So when you see something right away, like your brain registered, you're like, I'm at a banquet with the boosters, and I just gave this ball to my coaches, and I got this back. You didn't know I told them to write something bad. It goes through your brain, and you register that negative thing you just seen. You get upset. Okay, it happens, right? There's a lot of times when you're going to be on the field or in life in situations where you're going to get surprised like that. And you have two ways to take it. Good way or bad way. Either way, you have to deal with. Okay? You might think the good way is confrontation. You might think it's, oh, just blow it off and not say anything at all. Okay? But it's all up to you and it's your decision. But composure ultimately helps you believe in yourself and that you can overcome what you're dealing with right now. All right? If we can stay calm through these situations, I'll give you an example of composure. Say you're on the pitcher's mound, left-handed pitcher, and I'm trying to throw fastballs in the outside corner in the first inning of the game. And I'm trying to find out where the umpire's going to give me that fastball. I'm going to start on the black, and I'm going to work my way out towards the left-handed batter's box. And he gives me the black, and he gives me nothing else. So I work the black. Next pitch, ball. Next pitch, ball. Right down the middle, ball. Like, what do I have to do to get this umpire to give me a strike? It's about what I have to do, not what I tell him he has to do. I'm not going to give him any hand gestures, no motions, no, where was that blue? I'm going to keep my cool. I'm going to go back. I'm going to reset. If I walk the guy, I walk him. I'm not going to show him that I'm afraid of throwing to that spot again, though. I'm going to gain his respect. Okay, that's a little example of keeping your composure. Other people can see it, especially an umpire. He can see, hey, this kid is working hard. He's thrown in this spot 3 times in a row, and now he's going back to it again. Gaining his respect. Okay, that's from a baseball standpoint. So composure is the big key. So some of my personal experiences I'm going to share with you right now on the 3 C's: my confidence, consistency, and composure. My confidence. I got a good taste of confidence when I was very young playing sports, baseball especially. Around this area, there were a lot of good baseball teams. There were a lot of teams, really good leagues wherever you played. So you always felt good when you did well because you know you were playing against good competition. Short story about my first taste of confidence. I was 7 years old. I was playing for the St. Ed Speed Boys up at Ferndale Baseball Field, and I probably shouldn't have even been on the team. There were 10-year-olds on the team, and we're in the championship game, and I'm playing right field. I'm out there just praying the ball doesn't come to me. Like, don't hit it to me. So, bases are loaded, and the coach calls me in to pitch. There was nobody else he could have pitched. Nobody. It just had to be me, the right fielder, who didn't want the ball. So, I come in, and there's no outs, bases loaded, and I'm throwing to Scott Fabrizio. He's a catcher at the time, and Scott was a big boy, very, very big boy, and I'll get to that later. So, first batter, struck him out. Right off the bat, 3 pitches, struck him out. By the way, I'm 33 years old. I have a great memory. That's when I was 7, so I'm doing good. Second batter, 3-0 count. I'm thinking this is it. I have 2 choices. 1, think about not walking this guy, or 2, just go after him. Throw strikes. Whatever happens, happens. Strike him out. Next batter, full count. Bases loaded, bottom of the last inning. Strike him out. Our big heavy catcher throws his mask off, runs out, and goes to pick me up, and he uppercuts me right in the jaw. I go down hard and start bawling my eyes out. Great first experience as a championship pitcher, right? So it all starts with confidence, guys. I didn't know that I had confidence at that point. But in your life, I know you guys are a little older than 7, but look back to see where you gain your confidence from. Because where you're at now, you guys are a young squad, right? So you're underclassmen. You always have to look for that place where your confidence is or where it was if you're not confident in situations. Okay? So I gained some confidence younger in life, and I was able to stick with that all the way through Teener League and into high school. So growing up, I played a lot of other sports. I wrestled, I played basketball, and I played football. Confidence comes to different places and different levels because they're different sports, you know, and they come from different coaches. So your baseball coaches might give you a different type of confidence. Your football coach might give you something else. You know, Coach Darren might say, hey, I'm going to show you confidence in this way, where Coach Eads might be a little bit more laid back with his confidence builder he gives you. It comes in different ways. So take advantage of those situations and understand and take it in. Okay? In high school, I wrestled all the way up to my freshman year of high school, and I gave it up for basketball. Wow, was my dad mad. Very mad. I'm not trying to brag, but I was a very good wrestler, and that's what I love to do. But wrestling just didn't do it for me. My friends wanted to play basketball. They said, let's play basketball. We need you. So I gave up wrestling and went to basketball. Wrestling was a sport where I gained respect and discipline and all that stuff. And that's where I think it made me a good person. So it's my senior year, and I'm in woodshop class. I haven't wrestled since not even 9th grade, it was 8th grade. And the woodshop teacher, Danny Venn, a wrestling guy from Shamokin, says, hey, we need a 171 pounder. Can you weigh in for us? And I said, Coach, I took off basketball to work on baseball because I have a good chance of getting drafted this year, and I just want to work on baseball. The basketball coach will be really upset, and I know my baseball coach will be mad if I wrestle. He goes, no, we just need you to weigh in at 171 pounds. I said, but Coach, I only weigh 155. It's okay, you just have to weigh in. So they talked me into it. Todd Hockenbrock was the coach at the time, he still is at Shamokin. And I go to my first practice, and it's about as bad as I remembered. It's no fun. You know, it wasn't really what I planned on doing, but I knew it would be a good workout for baseball, and I knew that it would push me to get better at something else that I hadn't been involved in a long time. So the first match I wrestle in, we're halfway through the season, and we're wrestling Pine Grove. This is for the Schuylkill title at this point. First match back, and I happen to be the last match to wrestle. That's how the dice were rolled, and I'm thinking, okay, this is great. We'll be winning or losing. I'll just go out and forfeit. This will be fine. Well, it wasn't fine. The last match came, and Coach Hawk came over. He said, look, you don't have to wrestle, but if you don't go out there and we forfeit, we lose the Schuylkill League. And I'm like, okay, no pressure. No pressure at all. I look at him, and he looked at me, and he said, hey, you can do this. I know you can. He said, just go out there. All I want you to do is don't get pinned. All we had to do, I just didn't have to get pinned. If we lost by 6 points, we lost by 1. So back to the confidence with the coaches. He told me he believed in me, and I had no desire to go out there and wrestle with hardly any practice against a kid that's ranked in the state from Pine Grove, wrestling 171 pounds, and he's jacked, and I'm 155 pounds and nothing. So I went out there. Halfway through the match, I'm winning the match, and I get so tired because I'm not in wrestling shape and I have this headgear on that's like strangling me. So I take it off and I throw it off the mat, and the referee's like, one penalty point, one team penalty point. I'm like, oh no. The coach is like, hey, now you can't get tech fall. You just lost a penalty point, just don't get tech fall. So I said, okay, we'll be fine. So long story short, I end up losing the match by 1 point. I hadn't wrestled in 5 years. The only reason I went out there was because the coach believed in me. And he told me I could do it. Other than that, I wanted no part of that. I felt it was okay just not going out. I didn't let my team down, but the confidence came from my coach in that moment, not from myself. So remember that, guys, okay? So lastly, with confidence, I was able to do well in high school as a pitcher on the mound. I was very confident about myself. I threw a good fastball, but I was more of a location pitcher with some speed and some movement. I had a curveball, but I didn't need to use it much. I just used my location and my velocity to get me by. But the more I pitched, the more belief the coaches had in me, the better I felt about myself. I didn't go out there and just throw, and I wasn't cocky about it, but sometimes you have to be a little cocky. There's a fine line of overconfidence and just enough, okay? When you go up to the plate, you know you're gonna get a hit. Or if you're in a 3-2 count, you know you're gonna pound that strike zone. Be confident in yourself at this moment. So high school, doing well in high school led me to getting looked at by a lot of professional scouts and a lot of colleges. A lot of the big school colleges were looking at me. I would say about 100 schools were interested. And I picked to go to George Mason. They offered me a full scholarship. And that full scholarship didn't come on the baseball field. It came after a football game. The pitching coach from George Mason, they had offered me an 80% scholarship. And I was thinking about it, didn't know what to do. I had a lot of other 80% and 90% scholarships from a lot of other schools like Coastal Carolina, LSU, Clemson, some of the other schools I was interested in. And after a football game, I came back to the locker room and I look over and there's a pitching coach from George Mason. And I'm thinking, what are you doing here? Like, you're supposed to be in Fairfax, Virginia, doing fall practices. And they offered me a full scholarship right there after the game. He said, Jared, your confidence level was through the roof when we've seen you play here. This is why we're giving you that extra 20%. We want you on our team. Whether he was bullshitting me or not, I don't know. You know, a lot of college recruiters do that. But it made me feel good about myself, and my confidence level stayed consistent. Okay? So let's move on to consistency. So guys, consistency, what we talked about with the size of the baseball and everything, and being consistent with your mechanics and everything. Your hard work, your respect, and not just respect for yourself, but your coaches and your teammates, it can take you a very long way. So consistency in that aspect, just in life, take that with you, okay? Keep it going. If you have to start it now, keep it moving forward, okay, for the rest of your life. Stay consistent with that one thing, all right? So, another story, this comes from used to be Mount Carmel football coach Carm DiFrancesco. He was my football coach in high school. I played football my whole life, and my senior year again, I wasn't going to play football and focus on baseball, because that was my dream. I wanted to be a professional baseball player or go to college for baseball and a scholarship. So I told Coach, I said, Coach, I can't play. I can't be there in the summer, and it's just not fair to your team that I'm not there. At the same time, I was playing on a perfect game team in the fall on Saturdays, and I was playing there's a high school team ran by minor league scouts, the Baltimore Oriolanders. It's a team based out of Maryland, and I was playing for them as well. And that was every Saturday in the fall. So where the consistency part comes in is I played football that whole time, and I stopped playing, didn't even think about it, and didn't think of the movements and the energy that the sport gives you. And I kind of lost that feeling for a little while. That whole summer, I kind of lost it. And I had second thoughts. Like, something's not grooving here in my baseball workouts that I needed. So I decided to go back out for football. So in the fall, it was like first day of double sessions. I showed up for my first workout of the year. But that consistency brought me back into who I needed to be for baseball. So after football games on Friday night, my dad would meet me outside the locker room, and the farther trips, we'd have to leave right from the locker room. We would go down to South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. It didn't matter where it was. I was pitching Saturday morning. I got the first game. So I'd hop in the truck. My dad would drive through the night. I'd sleep. I'd wake up, put my uniform on. I'm pitching in 30 minutes. The consistency of playing that different sport and just the commitment that it takes to be a football player of what my mindset was. You know, I know every sport is hard, but to me, football was you had to be dedicated, you had to give everything you had. If I didn't have that, I don't think I would have played as well on every Saturday in the fall. So I do give football a lot of credit, and being consistent with that really helped me get the looks that I needed and the scholarship that I needed in college. Do you guys have any questions at all so far about anything? If you do, just raise your hand or shout out at any time. Feel free, okay? Hope you free, guys. All right.
Did you play 4 years of basketball also, or no?
3 years of basketball.
3 years.
Yes.
Did that help you at all, or?
Yeah, basketball is a different type of conditioning. It's a lot of quick starts and quick stops, and it's a different friend group. There's cliques in high school. There's football players that play football. There's 2 sport athletes. I tried to stay involved in as much as I could, and tried to be a 4-sport athlete for as long as I could. Number one, to make my dad happy. You always want to make your parents happy and be that kid. But I know that he knew what was best for me at the time, so I tried to keep playing. And once I did give basketball up, I think that's why I reverted back to wrestling, because I kind of missed that. I'm not doing as much now. I have to stay committed after school with that consistency part. But basketball is fast paced all the time, no matter what. And you have to focus very quick. It's a lot different than baseball. In baseball, you might move 30 seconds in 7 innings. That might be it. Besides when you're at bat, maybe you might move 30 seconds, Yes, I had good basketball coaches. I had Joe Clebon, Probert, and Joe Gubernaut. So they were hard-ass guys. They pushed me, they drove me. I look at basketball as a great sport to stay involved in.
What position did you play in football?
In football, I was a quarterback, and I was a corner and free safety. I was a quarterback for 3 years at Shamokin. My sophomore year, I came in halfway through the season after the Mount Carmel game. And then my junior and senior year, I was the starting quarterback. Football gave me a lot of confidence as well. As a quarterback, you're in control of your whole offense. Your linemen look to you for everything. Our running backs, they weren't so smart, so they had to look to me and say, hey, where do I go? What's the plan? I had to make sure they knew where they were going, so nothing was chaos when we set up.
If you had to do it all over again, just related to baseball, would you do anything different? On a positive or negative?
So,
is there anything that helped you get farther?
I don't think I would do anything different other than when I was drafted. We weren't very familiar with how to approach an agent or how to talk to regional scouts. You know, it wasn't just area scouts, it was cross-checkers, regional scouts that were interested in. You know, we didn't know the difference of anything. You know, that's serious scouts coming to see me, and I think at that point it was tough. That's the one thing I think I would do different definitely with my son, knowing what I did go through. For example, I had a full ride to George Mason University. So area scout for the Marlins was Matt Anderson. And Matt came to me and he said, "Hey Jared, we want to draft you in the 5th round." This was before they knew about my full scholarship to George Mason. I said, "Okay, I'm interested. Here's what we want to give you. Are you going to go to college?" So my dad at the point my dad never got a college education. He had to work his whole life. You know, our area wasn't very rich, you know, back then. So he thought college was everything. And I didn't blame him for it, you know, but he was probably right. I wanted to play baseball. So I wanted to take that deal, but I think it actually hurt me that I had that full scholarship riding on the line, and the Marlins were kind of afraid to waste that 5th round draft pick and say, he doesn't have to sign, he's a full ride to college. If he doesn't like what we give him, we wasted a 5th round pick. So in that aspect, that's probably the only thing that I would say hurt me. Everything else, Legion ball, Legion baseball is one of the best things that you guys have going. I know that there's not many college recruiters there anymore. Do they have the showcases anymore? They do still have the showcases. I don't know what they're still like, but when I played, Legion baseball was where it was at for me, for college recruiting. For pro recruiting, it was a little different. They would come to high school games when they could. If you were good enough, they were following you around. But Legion ball really helped me. Those Saturday games in the fall after the football games my senior year, they were tough. They were very tough. I was very sore. I got beat up a lot. Like I said, I was a quarterback, and put it this way, I had more rushing yards than passing yards. I had to scramble a lot. I was fast, I could get to a hole, but I got hit hard a lot. So it was tough on those Saturdays, but I still got through it, and that's where a lot of teams from the South and a lot of colleges from the South see me play. So I definitely recommend get exposure as much as you can, whenever you can get it.
Guys, do you have any questions for him? No questions? Nothing? Anybody have any questions?
Okay.
Shy group.
So the last season, composure. I went over the composure with you a lot. I'll share a story with you here. I know I shared a couple. So I was pitching in the conference championship against UNC Wilmington. George Mason was in the CAA conference, Colonial Athletic Association. The reason I picked George Mason was because we played a lot of big schools down south. And I was only 4 hours away from home, and I had a full scholarship. So we're playing big name schools like LSU, Clemson, UNC, go out west and play Stanford, we play Duke, Tulane, Alabama. So I got a lot of good exposure to play those types of teams, but was able to fit into this program at George Mason and start right away as a freshman as a conference starter. I didn't get redshirted. A lot of colleges wanted me to redshirt, and I just wasn't interested in that because as a redshirt, you need to wait 4 years again to get drafted. If I would go in and not get redshirted, I only had to wait 3 years for Division I baseball, and that was my goal. But anyway, back to the story. So there's a lot of scouts there as a freshman, and this is a big game for us. It's the conference championship, and this gives us an at-large bid for regionals. So an at-large bid is you don't need to win the conference championship, so it was okay if we would have lost that game, But we won enough games and had enough points that we were going to go to regionals anyway. The regionals is a big thing in college baseball because once you get to regionals, anything can happen. You win a regional, you go to a super regional, and super regional goes to a college World Series. So I get the start for this championship game, and we're playing UNC Wilmington, who's ranked number 9 in the country. Not a huge school. Have you guys ever heard of UNC Wilmington? So at that time, they're ranked number 9. And I'm on the bump, and I'm feeling good. Fastballs are feeling great. It sounded loud in the bullpen. Catcher loves it. He knew how to just set up the right way to make the glove smack, and I'm thinking, all right, this is a good day for me. So leadoff hitter comes up, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to send a statement and just throw a fastball inside. Right-handed hitter, bad idea. Four-seam fastball inside from the lefty, comes across the plate. He turns on it and puts it over the palm trees in left center. Okay, palm trees aren't inside the fence; they're outside. Right? First batter, first pitch, home run. Okay, so we're down 1-0. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I always had a tough start in the first inning. Next guy comes up, lefty. Catcher's like, okay, let's show him what's going on. Inside fastball to him. I missed. I threw an outside fastball. Guess what happened? Same palm tree. Right? 2 pitches, 2 home runs. Next batter. I'm thinking, I should just hit him. I'm just going to hit this guy. Put him on first. That way we can roll a double play, and there's 2 outs, and we can get out of this inning. So I don't do that. I throw another meatball down the middle, and he hits another home run. Right? So the score is 3-0 after 3 pitches in this game. My coach comes out, and he looks at me, and he said, Jared, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to win a baseball game, coach, get back in the dugout. Right? Just trying to blow off some steam. I wasn't that guy to get worked up. So I stayed composed. I had to at this point. There's so many scouts here watching me. But I had to tell myself, it's not about those scouts. It's not about the other team. It's about my team on the field, the defense that's behind me, and I have to step it up right now. And I didn't want to walk off the mound giving up another 4-0 run. So from that point forward, I threw 8 innings, and we won the game 4-3. He didn't score another run or another hit. So I gave up 3 hits in the first inning and threw a no-hitter from 2 to 8, which I felt great about. But I didn't stop thinking about those 3 home runs. I still have it, right? That was a while ago. I think about that a lot, even today. It helps me get through a lot. There's going to be moments in your life where things are going to really suck. But if you stay calm and get through them, that's where fear has no place. You'll be fearless, right? So remember that story I told you, okay? I'm not saying I'm the best pitcher, but like the saying goes, it happens to the best. It can happen to anybody, but it's how you pull through and how you stay composed with everything, okay? No questions yet, guys? No? Okay, so play 3 C's. That's the philosophy I live by then. I didn't realize that philosophy until I got into college, where my pitching coach introduced me to the 3 C's. And I do have, I work for a construction company, an HVAC contractor. I'm in local union 520. I'm in the pipe fitters union, so it's a building trades program. I've been there for almost 10 years now. And it's been great for me and my family. I built my own house. I built my own facility for my business. And I'm very proud of that because of those 3 C's that Coach Sean Stifler taught me a long time ago. Sorry if I'm getting a little choked up. Brings back memories. But it was something you guys don't know about me is so my daughter over here. I'm 33. She's 13. I had her in college, and I was a sophomore in college. Yeah. And I look at that as success for you guys to think about. It was very tough, you know, but we made it, and it was just another stepping stone that pushed me and my wife together to start a relationship, to build off of that, and to build a life. But for me, it all came from baseball and from sports. Not because I was good at something, but because I learned all those lessons within sports, and it got me to that point. But ultimately, when she was born, baseball became second to me. It was all about family and hard work and commitment. So when I came home, I injured my arm. And it wasn't a good injury. It was I tore my labrum, and I rehabbed, and I could have come back. I really could have. And I tell a lot of people I just didn't come back because my arm hurt, and it was something I couldn't get through, and it felt like I was throwing with my right arm, and I just couldn't find it. If I would have worked hard enough, I probably could have found it, but she's the one that kept me home. And I was okay with it. It was okay knowing that it was her turn to succeed and that I did my part. And that was good enough for me. So, guys, take it as it is. I struggled through sometimes by myself, but a lot of times with my family. You guys do have a family, even if it's not your mom or your dad or your friends, you have a family right here in this room, and your coaches, and everybody. Anything can happen, okay? I was a dad at 19 years old. My wife was a mom. And we took it and ran, okay? I don't play baseball anymore. I love the game, but not everybody's going to be a baseball player or a professional athlete. You are going to be somebody else. You might be a teacher, a scientist, an engineer, a pipe fitter. Okay? You're just as important as anybody else. Don't stop working hard. Okay? So thank you for your time. I hope that anything that I said helped you. And guys, if you need anything at all, my business is Four Seam Academy. Look me up on Facebook. You can text me, shoot me your number, or I'll give you my personal number. Anytime you need anything, that goes for anybody here. I'd like to get back to the area. I'm very interested in what's going on here with the baseball boosters and what Tom has contributed. I'm looking to get a travel baseball team in the area, the Shamokin and Mount Carmel combined travel baseball team, starting with a 9U. So if you do know anybody that's interested, this area is ready to become a baseball town as well as football. And I know we could do it together. So, like I said, find me on Facebook, or I'll give you my number. We'll chat after this. Anybody else have any questions? Okay.
Let's have a round of applause.